Hi everyone, it's Jennifer Savari with Paper Crafting Adventures, and today I'm bringing a Tiffany-inspired card with a stamped greeting that I've wanted to use for a long time. I love the encouraging message of hang in there of this card. This video is actually the second video I've shot for this card, and I wanted this video to be about taking a card that was good, a cute card, that had some flaws that could have made it better. And what I mean by that isn't changing the design. It was just a couple of different things that made it look more polished. The sentiment was crooked to start off with, and even though I did use nested dies to create the frames, I didn't spend the time on them that I should have. I really taped them down the second time. I put one piece of tape on to begin with and ran it through the die cutter, but this time I really took the time to make sure that everything was lined up. And I even used the rectangles to cut the base, which I had just measured it before. I die cut a white frame as well as a silver so that I could stack the two on top of each other for some extra dimension. And then I used the larger square of the square and the rectangle frame to die cut my background. And I really struggle with getting sentiments straight. You'll see I don't do this a lot, and if I could get over this somehow, I would use them a lot more often. But I found the center of my scratch piece of paper and also marked the little line where I wanted the sentiment to be. And I actually marked my rubber stamp as well because you can't see through it when you're stamping. So I found the center point of the little diamond tip down at the bottom, and then I made a line on the right and left side of where the lettering was. And thanks to the magic of editing, it looks like I just stamped it and it was perfect, but it actually took me several tries to get this exactly where I wanted. And notice how I masked off that diamond because I didn't want that to appear in my sentiment at the end. And I just stamped with VersaFine ink, and then I'm using the Hero Arts Superfine Black embossing powder, and this really does make a beautiful difference. I love how crisp the letters look. The font of this is perfect for embossing, and it just made such a nice crisp message. I love that. I'm using the Paper Discovery flowers. You've seen me use these before, and I just love them. They're just perfect layering flowers, and I'm just etching a little line on each petal. There's actually 3 little lines on each petal, and you'll see here in a second what that did. But I'm going to add just a little bit of curvature and dimension to the flowers, and I'm using my Heartfelt Creations flower shaping kit, and I'm just lightly going over these flowers. Because this is silver foil, if I pressed too hard, it could really distort them more than what I wanted. I just want a little bit of a curve. And you'll see on the small flower, after I make the main curve and then press it in, you can see that I'm just kind of helping those petals to curve a little bit more. For the center bling focal point of the card, I'm using actually Swarovski pendants, and I wanted a big diamond and I wanted it to be super sparkly. These were the sparkliest I could find, and I got them at Michael's in this Swarovski section. And I'm just cutting off the end of the pendant, and I just love these, but they will have to be mailed in a non-machinable way. So that's the downside for all that sparkle. But I just placed it in the center and put plenty of glue on there so that it does not come off, as it does kind of stick out of the card. But this is what the little flower looks like up close. And now it's just time to assemble the card, and everything is cut, and it's cut perfectly. There was no measuring involved, which I love. But in the end, you know what I think? I think it comes down to just simply taking a little bit more time on, making sure that those nested frames are straight, that using a T-ruler to help line up the square. And on a card like this, especially where you've got a text block, a square, a rectangle plus frames, it just, saves time to just take that extra time. And here are the two that I made to see side by side kind of the difference between layering the cardstock versus just making a frame using the nested dies. And I think that they both look good. You know, I use layers all the time. I love layers. But in this case, I think that frame just helped it look so much more polished. And here's one with just a teal background, straight up teal background, no white frame, and I like that one too. So fun card, very encouraging, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for all of your comments. I read every one. I love hearing from you, and we'll see you again soon. Have a great day.